Hello, and welcome to the Envision Requirements Management Solution demo. For this brief presentation, we'll be showing how Envision can handle requirements. For a demo showing the features of our tool, please take a look at the Envision tour from our website. Now let's begin. Here we have an example of a top level for a requirements management system. As you can see, it looks a lot like PowerPoint and is very visual and graphical. The power of Envision is to allow objects to be stored in the repository so that it's not just a picture, but actual requirements. In addition to storing the requirements, Envision can also handle enterprise capabilities, any attributes that may be associated with them, and the ability to link those to the requirements to create those relationships. You'll also see we have organizational views, core processes, even the ability to organize the requirements by the area or the person responsible for them. In this particular example, we have business and system requirements. We also have product requirements. Because Envision is so powerful, we can also link to standards and frameworks and keep those close by. For example, if I click on it, I can link to any framework, whether it's within the Envision software, on the web, or even another application, and have complete access to my methodology, to my guidance, to all of my help right within the system itself, quickly and easily. Now let's start taking a look at the requirements. We'll go in here to Business and System Requirements, and here we have a couple different projects. In this example, let's take a look up here at the business requirements for Project 1. Because we're capturing business requirements, we have chosen to use a graphical format that's very user-friendly to our business users, making it easier for them to understand and also easier for us to capture and communicate with them. So here are our requirements. If we click on any one of these, we have the ability to go into a more textual view. I don't have to keep using the pictures for everything. If I want to go into just a quick view that lists the requirements, add them, delete them, modify them, I can go into it and do it directly from here. I can even expand them to see what's underneath and continue on down in that matter. However, since we're in the business perspective, we're going to stay with the graphical view, so I will just double click and go down to the graphical view of the requirements. And here again, you'll see that we're using a more user-friendly graphical format. We have the ability to capture attributes about all of these requirements. These attributes are customizable and they can have any sort of detail, any kind of attribute that we want. We can have rich text fields similar to in a Word document. You have the ability to trace your requirements directly within this form, and then of course a complete change history going along with it as well. Now let's go back up a few levels. For a more detailed project where we have more requirements and perhaps using a different methodology, let's take a look down here. I'm going to go into the Inception tasks, and here we have the methodology directly integrated into the actual project. So a step-by-step plan for the users to follow. If we double click on one of these tasks, we go into a submenu where we can start here. We're gathering business requirements as well, a slightly different format based on this methodology, and then user requirements with diagrams underneath. The method that you use is very flexible and customizable. The types of diagrams that you want to create are entirely customizable. But this information is all linked together in the underlying repository. I have test cases, non-functional requirements, all kinds of different views and perspectives that I can add to my solution. Each of these areas has a menu underneath it with the appropriate diagrams. At any point in time, you can double click on one of the cameras to bring up a status report of where you are, see the change of requirements, or any other information that you might want to know. All of these various tasks have similar views underneath them, bringing together the entire project. Now let's see how this fits in with the enterprise. Product requirements can be defined the same as business and system requirements. All of those can be tied to enterprise capabilities or enterprise core processes. So if we take a look at the core processes, for example, we'll go into provide customer service, we can continue down looking at the various views and subviews in the process model. When we get down to a lower level in the process model, these processes are actually linked to requirements. So if I click on Capture Feedback from Customer, I'm presented with the exact same list of requirements that we saw in the business requirements section. That's because these objects are linked in the repository, and you change it once, you change it everywhere. So these are actually the exact same requirements that we were looking at earlier. Everything is linked together. In addition to looking at objects on the diagram, modifying requirements graphically, Envision has matrices and all kinds of other tools to help you examine and look at the various requirements within your business. So if I want to take a look at, for example, all of the user requirements, I can bring up a matrix that will show me all of those requirements in a spreadsheet format. You can modify any of the requirements directly from this spreadsheet. You don't have to go to a graphical view to look at them. Let's just take a look at one last thing. So we've looked at business and system requirements. Product requirements can be captured the same way. The link between capabilities or processes. We can have organizational views, even organizing them by the person responsible. For example, in the audit and risk management area of the business, the ARM director is responsible for various requirements. I can go into the requirement view and see directly those requirements that they are responsible for, any changes they've made, and now I know the source or the owner of those requirements and where they came from as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of functionality within the Envision software. What we've looked at today are just some examples of how it could be implemented, a few different methodologies, and a few different visualizations. The thing about Envision is you can customize it to look and feel however you want. We have all kinds of prepackaged solutions for you, but the benefit of Envision is you can customize those to look and feel and work any way you want, linking together what's important to you and your organization, visualizing your information in a whole new way. Thank you.